All right, Jody. Jody, where'd you grow up? Where are you from originally?
I'm from Canton, Georgia. That's where I'm from. So
Is that what part of Georgia?
that's north of Atlanta. It's
Hmm.
about 40 minutes north. It's the country.
Tell me about how you grew up.
I grew up in a large family, a very loving family, it appeared. However, they were very, very strict Baptist. I went to church my whole life. My mother had me when she was 16. My dad was very abusive. He was an alcoholic. At the time, I did not know what drugs were, so I didn't know he was using a lot of drugs. Later on, I learned that he had been using drugs, but he would probably every night from the time I was 4 till 10, I would wake up him beating my mom to death, really, really beating her. His parents lived in front of him, so they would come down every night, and of course he never did anything wrong. And then one day my mom got the courage to leave, and she picked me and my brother up, my sister up from school, and said we're going on vacation, and we went to New York, and we were living there with her boyfriend and her. That's the first time I ever smoked weed, I think, was then. I wasn't allowed to talk to anyone from Georgia. And then, I began to like New York, but I started getting high all the time, just with weed, and then PCP. And later on, we moved back to Georgia, and I went to juvenile hall. And I think that was the moment that I realized that I hated my mother. So when she gave me to my grandmother after that, I went to my grandmother knowing I was going to get to do anything I wanted to do because they had money and they spoiled me. And I started doing ecstasy, a lot of cocaine. I used to smoke crank. It was called crank at the time, which was crystal ice now. Of course, I didn't tell anyone because I cheered at school. I did very well at school, but no one knew that I had this life outside of school. And I think it was just an escape. So I guess I was just insecure. My mom wasn't around, but me and my brother were always very close. He was selling cocaine at 15, 16 years old. We're 18 months apart. So he was very protective, so he never knew what I was doing. So it was always a secret what I did. But meth was my best friend probably. I would stay up 9, 10 days at a time. No one still knew. Unless they just wanted to be, they knew, maybe they just wanted to not know, I don't
How
know.
many days?
9, 10 days at a time.
Wow.
With little cat naps. But back then you could do that with crank. Crank you could, it wasn't like the stuff now. It would last a lot longer. But deliriously, I'd be driving around, my car, and I can't believe I'm not dead, honestly, but, I still had never really heard of people overdosing at that time because I didn't know what opioids were or anything like that. And then I actually got married and, thought I had found a new way of life and quit doing drugs for a little while. And so my son came, and his dad joined the military, and then we moved to Alaska. So that was a really abusive relationship. He put me in a mental hospital for 2 weeks just so he could get an honorable discharge. And then he took my son from me. And that was the moment I think I wanted to die because I had nothing to live for. And that's when heroin became my next thing. So I was snorting heroin. And at that point, I lived to get high. I lived to get high. I tried methadone clinics, and basically that's just nodding out all day. That's nothing. You lose all sense of morals, all sense of time. You're not the same person. I think my brother and me were very close. We both went to the methadone clinic. I remember living for the methadone clinic, getting up in the morning, going to the methadone clinic, and that's all I cared about. And then I would buy more methadone when I was there, and then I was taking Xanax on top of that. And I think I was just living to forget what my childhood was and who I'd become. I was stealing, I was shoplifting. I had probably had 12 to 14 shoplifting cases at this time, on probation. And what's weird is I did gymnastics for 18 years. I was amazing at it. I was great at it. And I did good in school. I did graduate high school. I went to pharmacy school. All that was just, somehow I maintained it, and then, like I said, it just went away when my son was took from me. But I think my brother got locked up. He was, like I said, my best friend. When we were little, I remember Joey, that was my brother. My dad was laying on the couch. He was passed out, and I look over, and he has a thing of gasoline, and he's pouring gasoline around the couch, and he's trying to set the couch on fire to kill my dad. And at that time, I'm thinking, you know, you're a kid, so you're not thinking. But now looking back, it's like, wow, that was a lot of anger. That was a lot of for a 4-year-old to want to kill the father. That's just a lot of.
How old?
He was 4 at the time. And I think it was because maybe when my dad, you know, when we were younger and he was beating up on my mom, my brother would always protect me. So I think he just was more fed up than I was, tired of it. He was tired. And, you know, later on they I guess cemented their relationship, and they began shooting cocaine together. But I wasn't around for that. They never told me that stuff. But I was doing my own thing. But my brother had went to jail, and he was kicking in doors in houses to support his habit. I mean, he would just go to any house and kick the door in and go in and steal whatever he could. And he got caught, and everyone said, don't bail him out, don't bail him out. This was like his 20th time in jail probably. And my grandparents always bailed him out. They always got the money to do whatever that he needed to do. And they wouldn't do it, and I did it, and he died 2 days later. I found him dead in the woods. And they blamed me for that. A lot of people did. They say he overdosed. However, it was an investigation going on that he was hot shot. It was a hot shot, which is meaning someone had gave him a hot shot, which is something bad that as soon as he put it in his veins, it killed him. We'll never know. We've stopped the investigation. My dad just couldn't take it anymore. So that is the moment I went crazy. Literally, I went crazy. I woke up and I realized he was actually, I'd been up probably for 4 or 5 days. We searched for him in the woods for probably 2 days first, and I tripped over, I ran upon his body. And he was there camping with his family, and I don't know, it was probably the worst thing in the world happened to me. Because from that moment on, I did not care about anything. I thought before I didn't care about anything. I truly did not care about anything. Because the only person I had that I trusted was gone. The only one that ever loved me was gone. So, I mean, life was just dark. It was really, really dark. And that's when I began stripping. I began stripping. That's when I began dancing. I don't really know if I danced. I did need the money, of course, to support my habit, but I think more I did it because I just wanted to get away from anyone and everyone I ever knew because it reminded me of him. But I had probably had warrants out at the time. I always had warrants out. I was always in some kind of trouble. So I began stripping. I made a lot of money. And you know, you do things that you just don't think you would ever do. You become this person that you lose all morals. You lose all. I don't know. I had no respect for myself. I feel like that's something I thought I would never do. And my grandparents found out, and my grandpa played Amazing Grace at my door every day for 2 weeks. I think maybe he thought that would help. But really, all they had to do was probably talk to us. No one ever talked to us. They would just go buy us stuff, or make up for what my dad wasn't doing or my mom wasn't doing. My mom was completely out of the picture by this time. She had found a new family, and some millionaire that she was in Iceland with, and she had just got pregnant with twins, actually. So I don't know. So she came to the funeral for one day, I think it was, and so just my anger towards her, and then the anger towards my brother leaving me, probably was the worst feeling, and then my son was gone, so I was completely lost. And then probably about 3 years go by, and I had met this one guy, and he was actually friends with my brother, and 2 years later, I woke up and he was dead beside me. He had been dead 9 hours, and I was pregnant. And he wasn't really a heavy drug user. I actually talked him into going to the methadone clinic because his back hurt, and I knew it was a way for me to get there every day. It was selfish. And I gave him 1 Xanax at night because he was out of his, and he didn't wake up. He had been dead. I remember going to the kitchen and getting a bowl of ice cream because I was pregnant, and laying down, and I don't remember him breathing. And I turned the light on, and I guess the way he had been laying, the veins were all on one side of his face, and I knew he was dead. But I called 911. They told me to pull him off the bed and work on him. I worked on him for 20 minutes, 30 minutes. It seemed like forever. It seemed forever. The ambulance got there. But they came in, and the worst, I think, was telling his mother at the hospital later that day that her son was dead. She slapped me. I killed him, she said. And I still blame myself. He was a good guy. He went to other countries just to build houses to help people, and I'll never forgive myself for trying to get him to go to that methadone clinic just so I had a ride to go every day. But so after he died, it was crazy. He died the same thing was on his death certificate as my brother. Overdose of opioids and methadone and Xanax. That's what their death certificate says. And, I was never investigated, nothing like that, like for killing, nothing like that, but I will always probably blame myself for both of them. And, people tell you all day long, it's not your fault. Well, actually, yeah, it is. It is my fault. If I wouldn't have got him out of jail, he would not have died. If I would not have gave him that Xanax and took him to the methadone clinic, he would still be alive. So it definitely is my fault still. And I guess all of that, what do? You get sober? There's no way you can live sober like that. I did have to be sober for a minute. I entered a drug court program. I graduated with flying colors after 2 years of being sober. Did everything right. I played the role they wanted me to play. The moment I was off, I got high. I got high, and I hadn't stopped. I've not stopped since. I recently moved to California, and there's no heroin out here, or there is, but it's called black tar. And it's not good heroin. It sucks. I think it sucks. It's pigeon. They call it pigeon blood. So right now it's Fetty. Fetty is the thing everyone does out here. So it was that or be sick. So right now that's what I'm battling, is the Fetty. But I moved out here with my boyfriend I've known 25 years. He was my brother's other best friend, and I'm just terrified that he's gonna be dead because I have a really bad record of, I feel like, killing people. But I know I'm a pretty girl, and I know everyone tells me, you can have a better life, but really, I mean, I've lost my kids, I've lost my brother, my family. They don't really answer the phone for me. His family's been out here twice to visit him. Mine wouldn't even probably get on a plane to come see me if I was dead. But it's not because they don't love me. It's more for the fact that they don't understand. And I can be sober. I can be sober, and I can be happy to be sober. But I think I don't think I could be sober out here, not in California, not here, knowing I have a warrant back in Georgia waiting for me. And I have a 5-year-old now, and I have an 11-year-old and a 12-year-old. And of course, I have my 18-year-old. And not to mention, I also have a baby that no one knows about because I was raped when my heroin dealer in Atlanta, and the guy that died beside me, he thought it was his, and he'll never know because he died. But I delivered the baby, and I put him up for adoption to a really good family, but no one knows that. I don't think I've ever said that out loud. But he's a mixed baby. He's beautiful, but he was addicted to methadone when he was born. So he was in the NIC unit for a very long time, but thank God I was blessed with a very good family. My family never showed up for when I went into labor. I didn't tell anybody, so I gave birth alone, besides the adopted people, the adopted parents, and they expected this baby to come out white. They never knew. I never told them. And they never knew they never knew anything different. But they did not look at it any different. They loved the baby. I mean, but sometimes I do wonder, what will I tell him? If he ever asks me, what do I say? I don't know. And I think I don't know. Right now, I mean, I do have a partner in life that loves me. He loves me, but he as well as a heroin addict. That's your first love. That is your first love because that's the only love that's going to stay there. But more than anything, if I could tell anyone anything, I think it would be not to. If I was never introduced to it, maybe I wouldn't have done it. I don't know. But I feel like maybe I was dealt a shitty hand in life. But you would never know it meeting me. You would never know it. I mean, I can smile and I can, do anything in the world. I mean, I know I'm smart, but I choose this life, and I'm not really sure why I choose this life. Sometimes I feel like I choose it because I want to make a difference in people's opinion on people. I want other people to see just because you're a drug addict doesn't mean you can't matter or just you can't be beautiful or you can't be, you can't fit in a world that everyone talks about so great. That's not true. But maybe I'm fooling myself. I don't know. I've went to rehabs. I've done everything possible. My new thing is, actually I called a Suboxone clinic today, this morning, to try to get on Suboxone and try to do something better in my life. But I think the main problem was my parents. I think if looking back, I think that's where it all started, was I wasn't shown the right love. I wasn't shown that, no matter who I was or whatever, I was loved. I was more shown, I was more a mistake, and I was more the baby they had, that they had to keep, and that ruined their life and their childhood. And my little sister, she's in Georgia, and she's very genuine, very sweet. Does she do drugs? Yes, she does. She does drugs. She smokes meth. She does not do heroin. But I did give her a shot of heroin one night, and she actually died on me. And we brought her back to life. And from that moment, I couldn't believe myself. So maybe it is a battle with myself. Maybe I hate myself. I don't know. I don't know what it is. No, I don't think anyone really has the answer. But I don't know. I think the world is just crazy. I think there's drug addicts that maintain. I think drug addicts are everywhere. Rich, poor, white, black, everybody. And some just hide it well, some don't. If you could tell me the secret of life, my question would be, how do you stay happy sober? That would be it. I would want someone to teach me how to be happy and be sober. That would be all I would want.
If you had your life to live all over again, what would you have done differently?
Okay, if I could do anything differently, I would probably have, I would have stayed with my mom. I would not have went to my grandparents' house. I would not have hated her like I did. I would have stayed with her because she was trying to teach me how to work. She was trying to teach me the value of $1. She was trying to teach me, hard work does the right thing, and it's just not, instead of manipulating my grandparents and to get me whatever I wanted, and I knew I could get away with it. That's what I would have probably done that different. I would have stayed there. And I wouldn't have gotten my brother out of jail. I don't know. I probably, honestly, if I could have done anything differently, I would not have skipped school that day and did meth for the first time. That's exactly what I would have done differently. I mean, I guess. I don't know.
And Jodie, what would you say is the most important lesson you've learned in your life?
The most important lesson, I think it would be, I think I should have believed in myself more. I really should have believed in myself more, and I shouldn't have. Everything I hated about my mother and my father, I fell into it. I fell into an abusive relationship. I fell into all these things that I didn't want. That that I hated so much that I became all those things. So what I should have done is there is an organization for a reason. You go to school for a reason. You go to college for a reason. There's all these things that are set in place for reasons, and I would have followed it more. I would have followed it more, and I would have had my own thoughts about things, and I would have had my own faith about things. But I mean, I do believe that there's people in this world that bad things just happen to, and they don't stop happening to them. And I'm not sure why that is, but if you know someone like that, I would tell you to just love them through it, and just talking to them and letting them know that you're there no matter what, it would make the biggest deal. It would make the biggest difference you'll ever see. It's just to, instead of putting them down, it's really just to love them. It's just to be there for them. The one person I would want to forgive me more than anything would be my oldest son, Isaiah. He didn't have a mother growing up at all because his dad took him from me. But I think if his dad never took him from me, I think that I would not be here today. I would not be where I'm at today. I think actually that's it. That's it. Because holding him was the first time I'd ever seen why my life mattered. So I think that if his dad would not have took him for selfish reasons, that I would not be here where I am today.
Taking a child away from a mother is...
Yeah, I know that. That's it. That's. I don't think I've ever said that. That is definitely it right there.
It gives you no reason to carry on.
At all, and especially when I was doing my best. At the time, I was doing the very best I could. I was sober, and I was trying to do this whole Leave It to Beaver family Brady Bunch thing that I couldn't believe was happening to me. I thought he walked on water, and he was a good dad. But as far as a partner, he was very, very. He made me feel stupid, and he made me feel like I was not good enough all the time. But he went on and did his dream with the military, and I made his dream come more true because, I don't know, I was the crazy psycho that couldn't adapt to our surroundings in Alaska, so he got honorable discharged, and now making $250,000 a year and as a pharmaceutical sales rep. and has a beautiful family, and my son worships him. So, but I would never tell my son that, because I don't know, I'm better than him. I would never tell the things he told. So, but yeah, that would be it. Would be Isaiah. Isaiah changed my life, and losing Isaiah definitely changed my life. So.
All right, Jodie, thank you so much for sharing your story.
Thank you.
I wish you lots of luck with everything else from here on out.
Yeah, maybe this time it'll work out.
I hope so. All right, thank you.